Hey, you guys, welcome to Run It Back and Let's Run It Back. Okay, we're talking the whole Tyre situation with the Memphis Police Department, um, black police officers mainly. In this situation, I think all were black police officers, and that's the whole point of this type. What I have in relation to this, what I've experienced with certain particular type of black police officers. And this is something that's a situation, a phenomena that's familiar with like black males in general, dealing with black police officers that think and behave a certain type of way. This is just very disturbing. But I noticed like they have the racism, like police brutality there, but some context is needed here. And the context, the reason for this title in this video and the relation is that the context, we understand the proper context when it comes to white police officers conducting themselves like this in an action like this, because one can easily say, okay, this is racism. Like white officers, black guy, okay, everybody gets it, right? But in this particular situation, yeah, you have the police brutality there, and we understand that they're the police and they're over excessive, or the excessive force there, it's brutal. So we get that. I saw a couple of racism signs, but do we truly get the racism? Um, the same way that you would address black on black crime in the community, like it's easy to target, to go after a black man or to mistreat him or do him a certain type of way. Well, this is similar, but here's the difference. A lot of black officers, they feel like they can mistreat other black men. I'm not saying all across the board, because I've met a lot of good black police officers that had sense and conducted themselves properly, right? Some that even made you feel like, hey, I'm glad you're on the force. But when they behave like this, they're no different than thugs. Like they give you the same vibes, they talk the same as a random thug. Like they even, if you catch these officers like in plain clothes, a lot of times they go to the same clubs you go to. They hang out in the same areas. They be like, yeah, I'll be in the hood. Yeah, I'll be here. I mean, some smoke weed. Like, I mean, they conduct themselves like hood dudes, man. I'm telling you, like, they listen to all the trap music. Like, they could tell you everything trap. They listen to the future. They listen to this. They listen to that. Like, they about that. They about that smoke. Like, they feel like their behavior is just like a street cat. Like, it's like it's the same, you know. Even the way they conducted themselves explaining everything, it was like as soon as he made one action, professionalism went out the door. Like whether it's running, whether it's oh, he swerved, like it's like, okay, we got the right to take professionalism out the door. um and it's just like the racist white cop, except this is black on black, so they feel like they know this guy. Like, oh man, shut up, man. We know. I mean, the way they talk to you. If you're black and you've ever had like another black male come at you like this, or like a thuggish or a hood type dude, like man, the way they make you feel, as soon as you get that vibe from them, you know professionalism and is out the door. And usually these type of cops, they patrol like hood like areas. Usually they're part of like special forces, like narcotic forces, task forces. Usually they're like those type of guys, right? But not all the time. um but when they're black, they can be like this. And the reason I said that I relate to this, because in my situation, I'll explain what happened. Okay, police were conducting a reverse sting in a drug area. I'm not denying that it was considered a drug area where narcotics were sold, right? it was a store plaza, and it was an Italian owner of one of the stores that I knew personally. He had a glass front window. I pulled in front of his store. My I was gonna go in his store. We weren't there to trap. Like, we weren't there to trap. I pulled in front of his store, and I had a car with rims on it and everything. It was a trap star car. No denying that. And they were doing a reverse sting. They had four, I think it was four. It may have been five, but I'm pretty sure it was four black police officers in plain clothes, because they were the sellers. But they weren't dressed like down south fashion. They were dressed like New York street cats. And at the time, we had a thing against the New York guys coming into the area feeling like they could just take over the area. So that was one. Like, he didn't even look the part to be a drug dealer in that area. So he came to us. But a reverse sting is getting people who buy the dope, who buy narcotics, like smokers, right? We look like the dealers. We were the dealers, although we weren't dealing that day. But he came to us as if we were smokers, asking us, y'all straight? Y'all straight? And we clearly did not look like smokers. So we're like, why is this guy asking us if we're straight? Like, and we took that as him trying to, like, pretty much regulate the area and be like, hey, you need to get up out of here if you ain't buying. And he had a firearm. He later testified in court that he had a firearm on his back. And I saw him jostling. I saw him kind of moving the position of this, right? And I'm like, this New York dude think he finna pull on us. He think he was gonna rob us. And I had a previous incident not long before, where a guy robbed us of something at gunpoint, right? It was selling some rims or what have you. And I told this to them, but later on, I'm getting ahead of the story. But so I went in my trunk where I had a legal firearm. It was a Mossberg Riot 12 gauge, and it was legally purchased. And I'm like telling my friend, hey, you seen that rag or whatever? And I came out with it. And when I came out with it, I had it angled. I put two hands on it, and I had it angled down. But I walked up on him, and I'm like, and he backed up against the van, hands up, right? Hands in an up position. And I later found out that this van was a surveillance van, was a police surveillance van, right? So I backed the guy up, the officer, the undercover officer, but I'm just thinking this is a street guy. It's 4 p.m., so it's broad daylight. But I feel like I'm totally within my right to say, hey, this guy has a gun. He's probably illegal with this gun, but I'm well within my rights to defend myself and my property with my firearm, and it's legal. So I have no problem with the store owner calling the cops, with anybody calling the cops. So I backed him up against the surveillance van, and he just kept his hands up and said, don't shoot. I said, look, I'm not gonna shoot. Oh, and I got ahead, and I didn't tell you that before I pulled the gun, I repeatedly asked him to leave us alone. And he went to my friend that was with me and asked him, was he straight? Did he want to buy something? Like, totally disregarding what I said. Like, man, what's up, man? Leave it the fuck alone. Like, man, get out of here. And he went over there and he did that with my friend. Then he looked back at me with a mean mug, like he mad dog me, like, you know, like, man, and proceeded to come to the back of the car and just start, you know what I'm saying, doing that with the gun. That's when I felt like, you know, it was a threat. I felt like he was a threat. So I pulled it. And we get back to that point where I was at in the story. Had his hands up, don't shoot. Man, I'm not trying to shoot. I told you to leave us the blip alone, man. Get the hell over there with your partners. And by that time, the other 3 officers that were across the street at a payphone, because you had a strip plaza and then you have a store right across the street, like a hood-like store, right? And this is not an extreme hood area, right? But like, it's a little drug traffic area like that. So they're looking like, oh my God, right? And little did I know, the reverse sting had like up to 45 officers or more surrounding the entire area. So they had the perimeter totally surrounded. They were hidden, because it was a reverse scene. Soon as a smoker would buy the drugs, he would pull out, boom, a marked car would immediately pursue, pull him over, and arrest him and put him in a paddy wagon, right? If he's on foot, they'll whip up on him on foot. If he tries to run in the woods, it's officers hiding in the woods. If he try to jump this fence, it's officers over the fence. But we are oblivious to this, right? So, and we were also oblivious to this. That day, he testified to this in trial. That day, that gesture, the hands up gesture, meant extreme danger, kill on impact. I mean, kill on, like, if you got a shot, take it and make sure it's as lethal as you can dish out, right? And I wondered why he wouldn't take his hands down. And I'm like, man, put your hands down, man. What the hell, man? Put your hands down, man, and just go. And he would not leave. Like, for the love of God, he would not leave. He just stayed there with his hands up. He would not leave. He wanted me dead. Like, he wanted all the officers to see, look, kill this guy, right? Kill this. He was a black officer. You know what I'm saying? One of them ones that felt like he was cool, like these guys. He was like, man, like, kill this joker, man. I ain't moving. I want to make sure he dead, right? Just because I had the gun and I put fear in him. And I'm like, man, put your hands down and just go. I'm trying my best to get this man to drop his hands and just leave, right? Leave my immediate vicinity. And by that time, one of the other officers ran across the street and he had a 9mm and he drew it on me, right? And he's like, hey. And I turned from this guy to this guy immediately. I wasn't pointing at this guy. But when I turned, because I didn't see the threat, like I didn't see the gun, but I had it angled. It was at the ready now. But I saw this guy with his gun trained on me. So when I turned towards him, it was in a position where I can defend myself. So he immediately threw his gun up and I saw the fear in his eyes. And he said, don't shoot. Like, it was as calm and clear as he could convey it. Don't shoot. And I felt that don't shoot. I knew he didn't want that. So I said, okay, man, just get the fuck on and leave us the hell alone. By this time in the distraction, Officer A that I backed up against the van had took position behind the back of the van and just started shooting, like unloading his clip at me. And I was right beside my vehicle, right? Every shot missed. Remember, God is the ultimate ruler. Every shot missed, and the bullets hit my window, and all I felt was the glass shards from the bullets hitting the window go into my arm. I didn't know if I was shot. I didn't know what was, but I kneeled in a kneeling position because I was kind of between the cars and he was at an awkward angle because he was pretty scary. So he was at an awkward angle where he couldn't get like just a clear, shot, which he could have easily done because my attention was on Officer B who ran across the street. So he could have easily just stepped out. But I'm telling you, he was cowardly. His actions was very cowardly. And he just unloaded. So I'm yelling like, man, as soon as I come up from here, man, you dead, man. You dead. Yes, I said that, because I'm still thinking these are some thugs trying to, out here playing cowboy, right? So I hear all this commotion while I'm kneeled down. Like, I hear tires, cars pulling off. I hear do sound like multiple doors. I hear all this commotion and I'm like, what the hell? And when I lift up, I saw nothing but a sea of police. Like, everywhere, and they had the tactical mask on. Some of them did. They had the gloves on. It was police everywhere, and I saw a Crown Vic, like he had it floored, coming straight for me. And in court, he testified, a white officer, he testified that they were trained to kill with the car. Like he was gonna try to run into me and hit me and pinch me in between the front of my car and his car. So he was gonna hit me. And I shared a brief look with my buddy that was with me, like, what the hell? And I took the gun like this and I threw it. It was a shotgun, so I held it in one hand and just chunked it far as I could throw it, and threw my hands up to let them know, hey, I don't want no smoke with the police, man. I'm not shooting out with the police. That's not what this is. These guys are accosting me. You know, they messing with me. I'm done. Hey, I'm done, guys. So when I did that, I saw the Crown Vic lock it down, and he kind of slid, right? But he locked it down, and I'm kind of ready to move out of the way of that. But he locked it down pretty good. And the officers, the other three that was there, I don't know what Officer A is doing, who was doing the cowardly stuff behind me over there. But the other three officers, soon as my hands up like this, I'm thinking it's over. The other three black officers started bop, 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 and they hit the front of my car, like the front of the grill. And I saw, like, I could see the color of the lights, like the yellow and everything of like your blinkers and stuff like that. And I'm like, I looked at my buddy like, and we both looked at each other with paper plate eyes like, man, these folks just tried to kill me and I just threw my gun. Like, what the hell? Like, and we, mind you, we still think they thugs and they're being sanctioned. Like, it's okay for them to shoot, but we got to put down our guns. Like, get them guys, man. Who are these guys? It still has not dawned on us that these are undercovers. I'm telling you, it was moving fast. And mind you, that first guy that I backed against the van, would you all not agree? He should have said, hey, young man, chill out. I'm an undercover officer. This is a reverse thing. You do not want to do this. Put the gun down. I got my badge. I'm an officer. It's officers in this van. Just trust me. Put your gun down. And I could have did just that. But no, he wanted a free kill in like a thug type of manner. It was so clear. You could smell it on him, right? It was so clear. So I throw the gun. The other three continue to shoot. And I just look at my buddy and I take off running across my hood, like just getting it, man. And there's some woods down there. And when I tell you, the technical officers mostly were white. I remember clear as day, a blonde trying to grab me. She was in full tactical gear. I heard her scream and jump back from the bullets being shot at me. And do you know, in trial, the judge told me if that lady had been shot, because she testified she was almost shot by friendly fire. Yeah, these guys were idiots. And the judge told me if she had been shot that day, you would have been charged with the shooting because you created the shooting. Really. And when I tell you, I heard bullets buzzing by my head, like they sound like angry bees. I don't know if any of you have ever been shot at and a bullet whizzed by your head. I had several whizzed by my head. They sound like angry bees. Like, I don't know if you've ever been chased by yellow jackets. I know the sound. It's like a fast buzzing. It sounds like that. And I saw chip bags on the ground, bottles being hit. And I ran with God. Like, sometimes it would be like, drop to the left, drop to the right, roll, get up, do this. I saw my buddy trying to jump a fence and he put his hands up and black gloves came from the other side. And when I got in the woods, I'm rolling, I'm doing all of this. I'm Keanu Reeves in the Matrix. I mean, I'm dodging bullets literally with the help of my guardian angel, right? So I'm doing all this stuff. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm running all unorthodox, something they don't train them at the shooting range because that thing just go up and down, right? So I'm doing all this stuff, man. Some officers, like I said, they had the perimeter surrounded. Some white officers. I clearly remember these guys being white. Everything was very vivid. It was moving fast. My adrenaline was pumping, but everything was crystal. The white officers, I saw them. They came at me, guns drawn, in my face. Get on the ground. Get on the fucking ground. Get on the fucking ground. I'm like, hey, I'm unarmed. I'm unarmed. They're shooting at me back there. Because by then they had subsided. They had kind of slowed down with shooting because they could have hit their own officers. But when I tell you guys, the white officers had me dead in their sight. Dead in their sight. They did not shoot. Not one time. If they had chosen to shoot, I would not be here right now to tell this story. It was the black officers that wanted revenge for me even pulling a gun, having a gun. But why could they not see? It was under the pretense that they weren't law enforcement. So technically, I wasn't trying to kill cops or do anything of that nature. And let me know if you want to hear further of this story and want me to finish this story, because I took it to trial. It was over 40 officers that testified at this trial. This trial took over a week, and I blew trial, unfortunately. It was by a narrow margin. The deliberation took over a day because they should have let me off, because they saw what happened. I was pretty much railroaded. It's other things to it. And the sentencing, he threw the book at me. He threw the book at me. I had to do serious, hard time, long time behind this. Long time. And when I tell you, when you're in a situation like Tyre Nichols was in, you feel the pressure. When he called out to his mom, he wanted her, anybody, to come out and save him, because that's how they make you feel. Like, once them guys get to going, it's just like some thugs. It's just like you going to a blood territory wearing the wrong color, and them dudes think you're a op, or going somewhere else and them dudes thinking you free game, like you got on jury they want or something. It's just like being chased down by them guys, man. It's no understanding, no compromise, and they're supposed to be the law enforcement. They're supposed to be the protectors. But when it's the wrong type of black officers, it's like dealing with a game banger with a badge. A lot of you who are not black will never receive this type of treatment at their hands. Never. Unless you're white and you're in one of these drug infested areas, or one of these areas where they're like tactical or something close to that, and they feel like you're a junkie, you're a smoker, and then they can mistreat you. They might not beat you and kill you like this, but they can. They have. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm so sorry for Tyre Nichols. To his family, I send my condolence. I'm gonna follow this story. I'm gonna follow this story. And yeah, this is a very, very sad situation. This is a very sad phenomenon that is all too common. All too common. We out.